Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. We are close to wrapping up 2025, and silver has had an exceptional year. It is up over 160% since the beginning of 2025, and the gold to silver ratio has dropped to under 60, which has made some people wonder if we are looking at a blow off top in the near future or if we will see silver pass the $100 mark soon. Please note that nothing in this video is financial advice. Here to reflect on silver's performance in 2025 is the Silver Hermit. He is a market analyst and sound money advocate. Oren, welcome back, my friend. It's great to speak with you today.
Hello, good evening. Great to speak to you.
Oren, what do you think about silver's impressive recent gains?
Well, first of all, let's say that, we were right. We are vindicated because, we were among the few who were pounding the table back, a couple of years ago, telling everyone
Absolutely.
to get some silver. And here we are 2 years later, and it's truly silver has outperformed any other asset in 2025. So that's a very nice thing.
It's a good
But it
feeling.
yeah, it feels nice. I believe that this rally is far from over. I believe that what we're going to get is nothing but a short correction, and I think silver still has a long way to go. And I hope to explain why on this show.
The GSR is currently 57 to 1, which means it takes 57 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. If the GSR drops to 45 and gold stays the same price it is right now, we'll be looking at $100 per ounce for silver. And folks, the reason I bring up a GSR of 45 or less is because we have seen it at this level in the not so distant past. The GSR was under 45 a lot between the years of 1975 and 1983, and it also dropped under 45 in 1998 and in 2011. Looking further back in history, in the 1700s, the average gold to silver ratio was about 15 to 1, so it could go even lower. It's a safe bet that gold is going to keep climbing from here, so if or when the GSR does break under 45, silver will probably be over $100 per ounce. Oren, what do you think about the GSR dropping under 60
Yes.
recently?
I have to admit that I was pretty surprised to see it dropping so quickly. I was kind of expecting it to bounce where around between 62 and 64 level. Why? Because that was the 2021 low, if you recall. And
Right.
I was expecting some sort of a bounce. I thought that perhaps we're going to see gold outperforming for a while, and so, even though the rally continues, you would see the ratio between the two metals, the prices of the two metals, rallying for a while. But that didn't happen. It just sliced through that level like a hot knife through butter, and it's below 60 right now, which is it's kind of surprising because if you look at gold, gold is kind of lackluster right now. It has set new all-time highs, but it's not rallying as powerfully as silver is. So it's as though the entire attention of the market is on silver right now. And frankly, when you start looking, beyond the price action, when you start looking at what governments are doing, perhaps this is the explanation why silver is outperforming even gold to such an extent. So, well, first of all, we have the USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey,
Hmm.
has officially declared silver as a critical mineral this year. And this is paving the way to the U.S. forming a new national stockpile of silver. I think the market is looking ahead to the possibility that the U.S. government is going to start buying silver itself, so it's really going to impact the market. If the U.S. market starts, if the U.S. government starts buying silver itself, it's going to be a major source of demand. Now that's on the side of the U.S. But you have
Right.
China also. China, we have learned, is right now restricting silver exports from
Right.
its borders. It's going to take effect as of January 2026, and every exporter which wants to export silver articles from China will need to get a special license, and it's probably going to be restricted only to the largest dealers. So it's probably an attempt to cut down on the amount of silver which is leaving China. And we need to remember China is right now it's the second largest producer of silver after Mexico. It is becoming a major player in this market. So restricting supply from China again, it hurts the supply of silver around the world. Last but not least, Russia is starting to accumulate silver as part of its foreign reserve alongside gold. Thus far in 2025, it's been small numbers, nothing too significant, but it's a precedent. So it's a
Sure.
precedent for central banks starting to hoard silver alongside gold. It could be a sign of things to come. So we have the greatest powers in the world, the governments, starting to fight over the silver, trying to seize, trying to catch as much silver as they can. And that will surely affect the price long term. So I don't think, this is one of the major reasons why I think this rally still has legs.
Gotcha. Yeah, silver has really been outperforming gold recently. And as you had mentioned, silver has recently been viewed as a critical metal by China and the US. If you guys would like to check out a video that Orrin and I did on critical silver in the US, it's interesting because some of the stuff that we had thought the US might potentially do, we see China doing now, requiring licenses, restricting the amount of silver that could be exported. And so it wouldn't surprise me if we do see the US start to do similar things to that in 2026.
Yes, it's
Um,
it's as though the governments are suddenly waking up to the fact that silver is this
right.
critical mineral that it's needed both for industry and national defense, and that the supply is so limited that it's as though they just notice it's kind of amazing, but you would think that people in government are a bit more knowledgeable and forward looking, but apparently they aren't.
Yeah, it would seem like it, but yeah, apparently they're not. It's also been reported that the Shanghai silver vaults are at a 10-year low. And of course, as Orrin had mentioned, they're going to start requiring a license to export silver, which means Shanghai won't be able to cover for low silver inventories at the LBMA or the COMEX in a unrestricted manner like they had been previously, which will mean the level of price suppression coming from the paper market will likely be reduced. Because of this, I could see silver going over $100 in the first quarter, honestly, and possibly over 150 before the end of the year. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen. For all I know, it could go down in price, or who knows, maybe it'll shoot up over 200. The general public is so unaware of silver. I feel like if I walked up to the average person and said silver is $100 or $150 per ounce, they would be like, is that high? They would just go on about their day and forget that I even said it. I feel like the system has already won the narrative war, and most people don't think of silver as money any longer, which makes me think that the need to hold the price down with the paper market is not as important as it might have been in the past. I also feel like when the bullion banks with short positions asked to get bailed out with fiat currency for the amounts that they're short, this is just putting an unnecessary strain on the banking system at this point, and they might as well just let the price run. Do you think there's any factors outside of what the governments are doing that could be driving this rally?
Yes. So I think I'm pretty sure that it's not the retail investor which is driving this rally. I think they were left out. I don't think you can just see the comments on Twitter. You see most analysts, most mainstream analysts are they're not investing in silver. They're quite surprised by the move. They think it's a blow off top. Some of them think that it's going to collapse and consolidate again for 20 years. It's obvious that they're only looking at the price. They haven't looked at the fundamentals. They don't really understand what is driving the price of silver. That is quite clear. So as long as the retail investor hasn't joined the market, I think that the rally is still in its early phases. It still has a lot more room to run. I do think that the banks and the powers that be, I still think that they need to manage the price so that retail investors don't notice silver. I don't think they want the retail investor to notice, because if the retail investor piles in at this stage, then the governments and the banks that need to unwind their short positions won't have enough physical to do that, and they're going to get caught. The banks are going to get caught in the trade. We know, we've been told that American banks have already exited their short positions, and this is what drove the price from around 40 to 80, but that foreign banks are still caught short silver, and they still, they're in a difficult position, because if they try, the only way to exit a short position is by purchasing the underlying asset, which means you pour more gasoline on the fire. The price rises very rapidly, as we've seen on Friday, and that will alert retail investors and make it more difficult for them to exit those positions. The last banks caught within that trade could very well default on their positions, and that means they can't supply the silver, and this, it completely undermines the market. It draws more attention to silver. They don't want that to happen. They want to be able
Sure.
to somehow, they want to slow down, even if the price is rallying, they want to slow it down so that they have a chance to exit their short positions, and then they can let the price run really rapidly. But right
Interesting. Yeah.
now, there's still a large short position on silver. I think we're in the beginning of that short squeeze that we've been talking about for so many years. I think we're seeing it. It's not happening as rapidly as I thought it would, I have to admit. I was
I
expecting to wake up one day to see all the bullion dealers closed and without any inventory left. But there are still bullion dealers selling silver in the US. I check them every day. They seem to be fully stocked. As long as they are there selling silver to retail investors, it means that the public hasn't woken up yet. And you haven't seen the blow off top yet. It's still hasn't happened yet. So we're seeing like the first innings of that silver squeeze, but I don't think we've seen the fireworks yet.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because if the retail investors get heavily involved, all the silver will disappear. There's not enough of it out there for everyone, which is something we have discussed before. So it sounds like you believe that the real short squeeze, the big one, has just started recently.
Yeah.
And would you say that at this point, it's not worth it for them to keep the paper game going? It sounds like you're thinking they
Well,
should just pull anchor at this point and get out of there.
put yourself in their shoes. If governments who have an unlimited amount of cash are exiting, are trying to put their hands on some silver, then they're fighting. They can't continue to short silver and
Sure.
fight the governments. There's this saying in Wall Street: "Don't fight the Fed." Well,
Mhm.
it's certainly true that you can't fight three of the most powerful governments in the world. So by continuing to short silver, there will be fighting, the most powerful governments in the world. They can't, this position is untenable. They have to let go of those shorts, but they need to unwind them gradually so that the market doesn't explode. It's like this managed retreat.
Right. That's very insightful. They're really stuck between a rock and a hard place at this point. I just don't see the risk involved with the price suppression being worth it at this point, especially when the industrial demand is already exposing the supply problem, and the general public has basically forgotten that it's money anyway. But that's a really good point. They don't want them to wake up, realize it, and then all the silver disappears, and they can't unwind their short positions in an organized manner where it doesn't hurt them too much.
Yes, and we also have to remember that there's always the LBMA and the fact that the LBMA has sold, silver on an unallocated basis. You've got this entire pool of customers who bought silver knowingly that they're participating in a fractional reserve system, and if those customers get frightened that they may not be able to put their hands on silver and try to start converting unallocated positions to allocated, then you're going to have even more pressure. It's going to add even more, fuel to the fire. This is what we expect to see ultimately, feeding into the frenzy and pushing the price even higher. And
What do you think about this pattern breaking out? Um, and why could some
this
people
kind
posting
of
on
pattern, yeah, you were saying?
And why could some people posting online recently about silver topping be mistaken?
Well, such a huge cup and handle formation, when you break out of it, it should lead to a sustained rally, which would last for years. It's not supposed to end within 2 months.
Right.
This is, yeah, this is another reason why I don't think we're seeing the top right now. We could see, a temporary top. This could be the top, which leads to a correction, just like we've had in October, but I don't think it's the top. I think
Sure.
silver has still a long, long way to go. And I'm quite confident, I sleep well at night, knowing that I have physical silver, and I don't want to be. I don't want to trade silver. I don't want to try and exit my position and maybe try to buy some at a cheaper level. I don't have the ability or the will to trade this market. There's going to be volatility. We need to simply ride that volatility. If you're not levered, if you're holding physical silver, you're protected. So the price, the official price, let's say it drops by $20 or $30. Perhaps it goes back to 50 to retest that breakout level. It can always happen, especially if we have a correction in the stock market. But
Sure.
I'm quite certain that right now, the $50 level from a ceiling, it has turned into a floor. So if we do correct this sharply, I think we won't. I'm hoping not to see the price fall below $50 ever again. And that means long term, we are looking at substantial gains.
I think you're right. And like they say, nothing goes up in a straight line. I would encourage everyone not to sell right now during a big bull run like this. I mean, you have to expect there's going to be huge moves up. There's also going to be big moves down. So I mean, if it goes down $5 or even $10 over a day or two, it's probably going to climb by 12 or 15 the following week. I mean, you just have to expect this. And I do know that most stackers, um, a lot of them bought, just over the years, but if you look at their average price entry point, a lot of people are probably in it around like $30 an ounce. And so, by all means, but please listen to what he's saying. Don't panic. Don't worry about it if you see a big move down. And just remember, you're already up, whatever it is you're at, or you're over 150% in the profit zone. So don't let some little $5 move down shake you out. You just have to expect this when you're going into a market that's going to be this volatile and be in a bull trend for a prolonged amount of time.
Now, this is exactly what you said is exactly what I love about silver. The fact that its price gave you no clue that it's about to perform so well. So, only the people who had some insight, who had the ability to look beyond the price and study the fundamentals, bought silver at around 20 to $30 an ounce. I mean, like, most people only look at the price, and
right?
it's the same kind of people who judge a book by its cover, or a gift by its wrapping. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, so we see that silver benefits and rewards patient people, those people who have the foresight, the ability to study fundamentals, to hold it for a long time, to be patient, and eventually see those tremendous gains. So this is one of the reasons why I love silver so much. It has this tendency to reward the patient and people of strong character and strong will.
No, absolutely. That was really well put. And a lot of stackers do have um, a really high level of intestinal fortitude. And a lot of these folks are not going to be shaken off. And a lot of them are really nice too. There's a lot of great people in the stacking community.
Yes. As I say, in order to buy silver, if you bought silver at $20 an ounce, you had to have this kind of a leap of faith, because the price was not showing you, not giving you any clue that it's about to go where it's going. So you
Right.
had to have faith in, the principles of economics, in the laws of economics, and have faith in yourself also, that you see things correctly, even though the price is not giving you any sign that it's about to, skyrocket this way. And it's a very select group of people who saw that in advance and can say, proudly, hey, we have the receipts. You can go have a look at videos we made a couple of years ago. We're not just jumping on the bandwagon. We told you it's going to happen in advance. We gave you, the warning, the proper warning, and now we're here to reap the rewards.
Right. Absolutely. Now, Oren, if you had to guess, and folks, real quick, especially if you haven't watched one of our conversations before, Oren doesn't like to speculate about things like this, but I try and coax him into it. So Oren, if you had to guess, where could you see the price of silver going in 2026?
Yes, this is not financial advice, but I do see silver, first of all, going to triple digits. That's the most basic thing. Now, where will it stop? If I had to guess, then the price would be around $200 an ounce. Why? Because that's about the inflation adjusted top of 1980.
That makes
So that
sense.
would be probably a good place to put your first local top. And so I really would like to see silver go to $200 an ounce. I think it's completely possible. And then perhaps after a long correction and consolidation that maybe will take it back to $100 an ounce, right?
Hmm.
Uh, then you may start looking at even higher targets of 300, 400, so on. I could see it going to $600 an ounce. There is one analysis that puts the price according to, the cup and handle breakout. If you look at it on a logarithmic scale, it should put the price around $600 an ounce. That's not a 2026
Sure.
prediction.
Further
That's
down the road.
perhaps, yeah, perhaps further down the road, perhaps 2027, perhaps the end of the decade. But it also depends on how much inflation we get. Now, the more inflation we get, the more bullish I will become on silver. And if we do see another wave of inflation, then
Who
all
knows?
bets are off.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. I mean, silver has moved up a lot faster than I imagined it would. I kind of imagined someone shooting an arrow from a bow, but it's more like silver's price just got shot out of a cannon. Silver is necessary for the modern age. Industry has to buy it because of that. I imagine the distance that cannonball goes in 2026 is going to surprise a lot of people. Well, Orrin, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your
Thank you for
insights.
having me.
You bet, absolutely. It's always a pleasure. Folks, I highly recommend checking out the Silver Hermit on X and YouTube. You can find links to his accounts in the description. Thank you so much for watching today. I do appreciate it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I hope you all have a great day out there and an amazing 2026.
Happy New Year.